working.
I felt like last year, it wasn't just the talent that you guys had. I felt like last year as a secondary, there were just fewer busts. That's not to demean or disparage the defense before that. I just think you had more experience in the scheme. And then you coming in as a guy who was a student of the game just fit right in. And then Mikey coming over as a guy that's like that. It just felt like you guys were thinking the game kind of like you said, like coaches. Could you get that vibe on the field too?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely play well together, and we disguise a lot of things, show different looks, and our coaches always have us really prepared. We got really smart coaches. I think we got some of the best defensive coaches in the country. Coach Mentor's very smart. Even guys like Coach Mallory, people don't know much about. Coach Jay, he's really smart. Coach Klink, we got a good group of defensive coaches. So we just added Coach Partridge. He's super smart, super energetic. It's definitely a different level of coaching that we added to our defense that I think would take us to another level too. So I think our defensive coaches have us very prepared, so we play well together.
And so now I want to take the opportunity to let you talk about some of your teammates, and let's start with Mikey because, you talk to different guys like Amarion. He obviously leans. He's like Will, of course. Someone asked questions, but he was like Mikey is like a coach. Like as much as he watches film, as much as he kind of sees things that we don't see.
Right.
Right? Can you pick up on that too?
Mikey's just he's the example that you want to look at. He does everything the right way. So on and off the field. So he's always doing extra, always in the right spot, always going hard in practice. He's always got a really high motor. So when you turn on the film, he's always doing the right thing and always going really hard. So he's somebody that you look at to learn more about and get advice from.
Yeah, man. And you were probably the first one in the program to say Amarion Walker's a freak. You were on this, it's like, hey, he go turn the combine out right now, right?
He was first in all the drills, so yeah.
Right, and so proven to be true. Were you a part of the process of telling him to come over and play defense?
Definitely. I think the offense hates me because I was the one saying he got to come. So like JJ, Coast, and all of them give me hard time because I was the one pushing them to come really hard. But I see the freakiness he does have and the attributes he has. He can, once he really learns the game and really gets the technique down and it starts to click for him, he can be really good. So
yeah, and talking to him, and people by the time they see this will have seen that episode. He obviously is a really confident dude, but it's not like he doesn't get beat. Like he obviously, especially now as it's new. But from what I could gather, what it sounded like to me is when he gets beat, is because, hey, you're still learning the defense. Yeah. Guys aren't just gonna run by Mari, right? At least that's how I take it. Is that how you see it too?
Yeah, I feel like it's just being comfortable. That's how it was for me last year too. I wasn't really comfortable, a lot going on in my head. Like your confidence, when you get beat, you got a lot going on because you got beat in front of your teammates and you just came over, you're trying to prove everything. So he's got a lot of things mentally, and technique is the biggest thing. He's so athletic, he kind of relies on it sometimes a little too much. So once he can really lock in on the technique this offseason and feel comfortable just playing DB and not just being athletic, he'll be where we need him to be.
I know the entire defense, you're seeing flashes. I get that. But kind of like you said with Amarion, when you saw something exceptional, you're like, okay, that stands out. As you watch these guys this spring or even going back to winter conditioning, maybe you combine the two. What's kind of flashing to you right now is like, man, that really stands out? Or who?
I think guys like Ernest, our linebacker, he's really good on offense. We got some good young guys, like Samaj is pretty good, Fred, Cole, all those guys. I don't know how much they'll play this year, but they're all really good.
Yeah, man, that's a great jump off because I've heard a lot about Fred Moore's speed. Like that's what Trevor Keegan came in. He was like, man, this dude is fast.
Takes the top off, yeah.
Well, it's crazy because knock on him in high school, coming out of high school, was that
slow.
He was slow.
Yeah.
But you haven't seen that.
Nah, definitely not. He's one of our best route runners on the team too right now. So I think he might make an impact this year, definitely. I didn't know much about him too coming in. He shocked me when he came in too. So I think those young guys are proving what they can do, but they still got a lot to learn and things like that. But they're proving.
Samaj in the slot. I mean, you know what you're gonna get. Physical, great hands, gonna run routes. You're gonna hear about it. right? At least that's how it was in high school. As he quieted down a little bit in spring, or do you still hear him?
Hear him a little bit. He definitely quieted down. I mean, you got to on
You
the
got
type
to,
of
yeah.
team we got, the culture we got. So, but I'm sure once he gets back in that role, he'll be talking a lot too and make some plays underneath his belt. He'll be back into that role.
Yeah, early impressions of some of the young guys in the secondary who enroll early, like you, and they're going through the spring for the first time, swimming, but maybe they flash some. Cam Calhoun, I thought he was a really talented guy. I thought watching in high school, I don't do the rankings. I think our guys who do the rankings do a great job, but I thought they had underranked Jair Hill. I thought he was better than the rankings said. I'm curious your impressions of those young guys here early on.
Yeah, Cam has a very, very outgoing personality, and he's definitely a person that looks to be the best he can all the time. So he's got a lot to work on too, but he's flashing. And then Jair, he's just very instinctual, very athletic. He's kind of like a Marion, just super raw. But like once they get the technique down, I mean, like Jair, he plays really hard. And I think once he gets the technique down, and once Marion get the technique down, they can help us next year. So.
I'm trying to remember the starters across the board that Harbaugh said. He said, so you on one side, Marion on the other side. Clearly still competition to go. Mikey at nickel, of course. And then you got to, I mean, it feels like you guys are interchangeable at safety.
Yeah.
Obviously, Makari can play. RJ's played a lot of football. We started to see Quentin Johnson in there. Of course, Rob Moore. You guys seem super. It feels like you might be the most deep at safety.
Yeah.
Is that the right impression?
Yeah, we are really deep, and I think we just added a guy in 2023. His name,
Yeah, Brandon Hillman.
So they say he's really good too. So, I mean, we're really deep at safety. Linebacker, we got a lot of depth this year. D-line, really our whole defense is pretty much back, besides a few guys, obviously. But I mean, I think we got a chance at being, because like I said, dudes like Mason. We lost Mozzie, obviously. We got Mason, Chris Jenkins, Kenneth Grant. Like we got a lot of dudes that are really talented. So.
Yeah. So, but you obviously you lose Big Mike. You obviously talk about Mozzie. We just watched. We went out and watched DJ run a 4.26. You think Amarion could get that by combine time?
By combine time.
So
he'll be in that range.
He'll be in that range.
4.26 is so fast. You don't know.
Did y'all know that he was that fast?
I mean, last year we ran, like we were doing our max velocity speeds, and DJ beat Marion, all our fastest dude, but like he separated from him. So that's when we knew it was like, okay, DJ's flying. So yeah, I always knew. Even if you really watch film, anytime somebody's running like a fade and he's in good position, they're never getting on top of him.
Yeah, man, it's funny that you say that, because I watch film with Vance Bedford all the time, and he was like, man, this dude gives free releases. I said, Vance, he's supposed to be fast. I'd be like, really fast.
Yeah.
And he said, well, hey, man, he's going to be in the track meet all the time.
Yeah.
Clearly, we see why. Like, this dude can run on the track.
Right. So, I mean, he knows how fast he is, so he uses that in his game. But, I mean, you know, it's his pros and cons to it, too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You definitely get your hands on guys.
Yeah.
on guys.
I like to do that more, for sure.
Right, for sure, man. So, where you were coming off, and this is where I was going with that question. Defense was really good last year. Where can you guys be better this year?
I think just playing together more, like as far as like our linebackers and DBs, just being on the same page more, and just we're really focused on running to the ball, forcing turnovers, things that we were good at but we weren't great at last year, forcing turnovers, forced fumbles, running to the ball, effort plays, things like that. So just focusing on the little things, the details of things that we know we were great, but we got a gap we got to close to beat teams like Georgia and all those teams. So we're just trying to add little things to our game, and I think we can do the things we set out to do.